Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and I am very excited to be back here to talk about the gold hack strategy that I have in mind. Now, mind you, this isn't some secret strategy or anything like that, but more so based on my experience and receipts. This proven, tried and true strategy has helped me save over 100 million in gold, even just this year from all the events and festivities that have happened. So I want to share this with you guys to help you ideally save in the coming new year. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get started, guys, the sponsor of this video, I want to give a shout out. So let's get right into it.
So what is this going to be about? It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Rayge Shadow Legends soaring. That's right, folks. You've heard the name before, but do you actually know what you're missing out on? I sure didn't, and especially if you're hoping to thrive free to play like myself, the game is available for Android, iOS, and PC, so you can download and try for free using my link or scan the QR code to receive amazing heroes, hundreds of different champions to collect, an in-depth turn-based RPG with visually pleasing graphics, grueling boss fights, and more. Sounds pretty good, right? Similar to MSF, I mean, the number of game modes is what allows autonomy for players to really choose what they want to excel in, whether it's campaigns, arenas, clan versus clan wars. Now, what's new and different are faction wars where champions of specific factions are required to progress further, followed by epic boss battle.
The Cursed City is also one of Raid's biggest features since the Doom Tower, with over 100 stages to complete, including where you need to take down 2 of the Raid's bosses at the same time. This is a new update, and definitely check it out as this is exciting.
It's exciting content in Raid. What are you folks waiting for? Make sure to use my link in the description below or scan the QR code to receive epic heroes, a rare hero unlock for free, and start summoning powerful champions today as soon as you start the game. Once you're in and crushing your enemies, come and find me, Rayge92, join my clan, and let's be legends together.
Now, what's really cool about the strategy is that some of you folks may already be doing it inherently in your account without even thinking. And what I'm referring to, guys, is the min-maxing of certain teams for specific game modes. So first, I want to start off with the Raid team value right now. There's 2 great examples that we can utilize both right now in the current meta, which is the Bifrost team that you see up here on the top, and then followed by the Pegasus team. And on the right, you actually have the current gear tier levels that I have right now. And I'm going to be walking you through kind of what my analysis here is on. So you can see, starting with the top, Bifrost here, the total team power is only 818k in total combat power. They can full clear the Incursion 2.2 raids, which is the highest level of difficulty right now for the Incursion raids that we know of, until that opens up even more higher. But as well, that means if you're doing this right now with 818k in Bifrost, it means this can very well work in Doom and lower levels. Huge value, guys. 4 gear tier 14 characters, 1 gear tier 18 being Val, and the combination of these characters have saved me over 20 million in gold if I didn't bring them to level 85 in gear tier 16, which is the case right now. So that situation itself right there avoided the investment, right? It's really taking advantage of the most value you can get for the teams right now, especially knowing that around the corner we are getting constantly new teams and updates to the meta. Now, next example, the 867k for the Pegasus team also full clears all of the tech nodes in Incursion 2.2. Very similar format to what we see with Bifrost, which is 4 gear tier 14 characters, and then again, the gear tier 18 being Kestrel. I brought her into Dark Dimension 6, great character overall, but again, I didn't see the need to invest if this team was already getting the job done. I wanted to see what the bare minimum investment was. Now, there's a case and argument here that Rescue can obviously be brought up even higher just because she has the revives, but again, I'm telling you right now, this team has absolutely no issues getting through all 3 nodes in 2.2 respectively for the tech section. And once again, similar to my first example, over 20 million gold saved if you don't bring the other 4 characters to level 85 in gear tier 16. In total, that's over 40 million from just this example with raids, guys. This is absolutely huge for us to consider because we know that level cap increase is coming. We know gear tier 19 is coming with Dark Dimension 7. So more ever than before, we have to be very careful which characters we're bringing up, the investments that we're putting into these characters, especially if you're a small spender or free to play like myself. Now, next up, we've also never seen this situation before. Back-to-back raid teams that are coming to the game. So I'm referring to the Extreme X-Men, and obviously to the right is going to be the Hive Mind team being for the Bile nodes, and then respectively for the Mutant nodes for Extreme. What we just saw from the examples of both the skill section, of both the Mystic and the tech section that I just talked about, we should be able to apply that same kind of methodology, right? Which is we're aiming for a 800-900k raid team Ideally, they should be able to get the job done even in the highest levels, and we're going to be wanting to bring that up as best as we can. That's why it's extremely important to know that this can work, but as well, knowing that we can min and max both these teams and they're going to be viable means that that's just all more gold for us to obviously save up on for future teams and events. Now, having said that, I do want to point out though, these two teams worked really well because there was a engine, there was a core of the team that really made it work. In the first case here, Val obviously being an example, and then in the second case, Kestrel. So, definitely see how this plays out, but obviously we want to bring up the best character. Now, the Extreme X-Men is nice in the sense that Gambit's already been a character that's been in the meta for quite some time with the Unlimited X-Men team, so you likely won't have to push him up any higher. It remains to be seen then, is it going to be Nightcrawler, is it going to be Forge? That's going to be interesting to see, but definitely wait for that. But all I'm saying is that we know that lower rate teams can get the job done, and you're going to be saving much more gold in the long run when you're compounding this, especially we know that there's always constantly new teams around the corner. The same methodology can be applied then to the Hive Mind team for the symbiotes, right? Huge shout out to Benny Westside on his infographic here. Well, most folks likely will have Venom and Carnage already built higher up just because of the past raids in the valley. So we know we're not going to likely need to invest any more in them. So it remains to be seen then. Is it going to be Void Knight, Gwenom, or Red Goblin that's going to be the core and the engine of the team? We'll have to do a wait and see once the kits are finally official, or it could already be out by the time this video is released. But all I'm saying is that we know that lower raid teams work, and we can save more gold in the long run. And this does compound, especially when there's constantly a turnover of meta teams joining the game to address a constraint or need. Now, guys, I want to also apply this methodology now to another game setting, and this is a very popular one as well, the legendary events value, guys. Now, first and foremost, the Masters of Evil team was needed to go through Nova's first event when he came through, and obviously they're still the go-to team right now. X Factor just doesn't really have a chance, but you can see here my 780k total team here of Kang and his fellow Masters of Evil was able to land a difficulty 8, no 9. I do believe that got me a 5, I really close to a 5 yellow Nova or essentially over it. But you can see here this consisted of 2 gear tier 14s, 2 gear tier 15s, and then obviously Kang being that similar core to the team. This, once again, I did the math. If I were to bring up every character to level 85 in gear tier 16, and again, over 20 million in gold save, guys. It's just it's surreal how much we can actually save just being conservative and being smart about the value, and still ended up getting a 5 Nova anyways, right? And that's at the end of the day, that should be what it's about. I think getting the legendary unlock is more important than how high you score, because at the end of the day, you can always eventually get the yellow stars over time as the event comes back and recurs. Now, let's take a look at Black Cat's event below here with the Nowhere team being required. You can see here my 770k team also landed a 1.6 million score here, and that was a full difficulty 8 run. Actually landed me a 6 yellow Black Cat, so this one was really, really good, but you can just see the value. This one was a little different. It was more balanced than what we've seen in the past teams that have built up. You can see it's like 1 gear tier 14, a couple of 15s, and then finally, oh, sorry, that's a typo there, but we actually had 3 characters at gear tier 16, so there should only be 1 gear tier 15 there. But regardless, my point here is that we allocated more of the gear and resources to make a more well-balanced team, being Nova, Thor, Infinity War, and Star-Lord Annihilation. But I did the math as well. It's still over 20 million in gold because of the fact that later on I did have to bring up my Nova to gear tier 18 for Dark Dimension 6. So it was gold that either way went to him anyway. So at the end of the day, it does usually have this core engine of the team, and Nova is definitely the most important member. But regardless, over time, guys, this right here is over 80 to 90 million golden saved just because of the fact that how we were effectively using the min-maxing of certain teams and really building 1 to 2 strong characters as part of that foundation for the team. And ultimately getting the job done, which is absolutely insane to me, guys. So takeaways, obviously there's going to be some exceptions I want to talk about, but yeah, this gold hack is not the ultimate strategy, but it's tried and true in many game modes such as raids, such as legendary events, where we can take advantage and really make the most value for what we have in the time, and that's going to compound when you're thinking about all the different events that happen, the milestones and new character teams that come out in the year, especially in the coming year. So Number one, guys, I do try to usually put the majority of my resources into Arena. So I think Arena meta is probably the one main exception because it's the only way to get power cores in the game. So you really want to be doing this as well as possible. Now, mind you, if you don't care for power cores and you don't want to utilize that resource, then you can scratch that off your list. But I think this is probably either the most important game mode in the game or the second most important. Another one is Dark Dimension. The only time I started really bringing up Gear Tier 18 characters was for Dark Dimension 6 when I was going through and reviewing what I needed for bottlenecks and making sure I get through it, because with Dark Dimension it gives you access to some of the most powerful characters in the game, Super Skrull still being number one. So obviously that's something that you can be thinking about longer term to invest in some of these characters, but that, you know, cross that back to some of the teams we just talked about and reference to see if you can get some value out of those core engines of the team, so that way you are making the most of your gold investment, and as well knowing that it's going to be going to a strong team other than Dark Dimension as well. And then lastly, guys, game mode priorities, right? Obviously, I didn't talk about that here because, you know, at the end of the day, each account, each roster is different. What you guys care about should be what you're prioritizing and building. And at the end of the day, we know what can work, right? Lower raid team levels can work. Lower legendary team events can work. But if it's a game mode that matters to you and you want to push as high as possible, you want to be able to coast and sim every single node and raids, and by all means, invest in those characters and teams. But we know that there's going to be a huge goal constraint in the coming new year. And I'm just trying to provide some insight here on how you guys can save, especially when this strategy has easily saved me over 100 million throughout the year, which is absolutely huge, guys. So again, remember, MSF, a great game and all, but it is a resource management game, and that's the key to success. So how you want to manage those resources are completely up to you. And at the end of the day, remember to have fun, guys. It's always fun to build up characters, your favorite characters that you want. You know, I don't even care how Professor Xavier's kit's gonna be. He's a beloved character. I'm gonna build him up all the way. Examples like that, right? Same with Kang. I'm just grateful that some of these characters that do come in our favorites are usually some of the better characters in the game too. So I hope this helps you guys. Hopefully this strategy, you can get some insight in terms of the fact that you don't need to be building, you know, 1.5 to 2 million value raid teams or legendary team events just because of the score. You can actually get a really good value for what you're contributing and making the most of your team levels and balancing it, so that way you can get unlocks, you can be pushing the highest rates even with lower level teams. Hope this helps you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Happy holidays, and again, guys, just a big shout out to the Rayge Shadow Legends. If you guys haven't already, do check it out. It's free to play. You can scan the QR code, and I'll have it linked up in the description below as well. So I appreciate the sponsor. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.